Hi.
What?
Hi. Welcome back to our channel. So today we have a really special video for you, and that was created by this mastermind over here. So we've been in a relationship for a long time, and I think you said it really well.
I was just in the bus coming to Vong Vien, where we're in Laos, and I had this idea of we have a really good chemistry since a while. It's been really we've been really integrated in a relationship, and I was wondering what make a relationship functional, happy, sustainable, and just fulfilling for both partners. And I was wondering, I knew it was about compatibility, but I couldn't distinguish the different kind of compatibility, and I just put it up on paper and brainstorm with Jordan, and I came up with 7 big category of compatibility, and we would like to share with you those 7 category. And if you want, you can do this exercise for yourself, either you're single or in relationship. What are the most important aspect of compatibility for you to have a sustainable, happy, and fulfilling relationship with your partner?
And so we actually have in the description below a form and a PDF that you can download and follow along and create your own format. So following along with what we'll go through. And so we have a really, really beautiful program for you.
So I will just share with you the 7 category that I came up with. They're the biggest. I'm pretty sure there's more than that. But I feel that those 7 that I found englobe pretty much at least 90% of what I feel is necessary for everyone to have a healthy, long-term, happy, fulfilling relationship. And there's for sure little one, but I feel the core of a healthy relationship is based on those. And if you have something that you want to add, it's up to you in your own exercise. I will enumerate all of them right now, and we will go through them one by one. The first one is sexual compatibility. The second one, emotional compatibility. Third one, intellectual compatibility. Fourth one, personality compatibility. Fifth one, economic or professional ambition compatibility. 6, spiritual or religious compatibility. And the 7th one, social ego. So
social ego, yeah.
So what it means to be compatible? We'll go quickly to each one of them, and to feel what it means for me or for us, what it means to be highly compatible in each category. And the first one, the sexual one, for me, highly compatible, it means that with your partner, you have a really strong sexual connection. You have a similar level of libido, and you have probably the same kind of kink. And you could add some more by yourself. But what it means is that I have been in a relationship where I was in love with my partner, but the sexual libido, the kink, were just so different. And at the end, your partner is pleasing you because they kind of feel you're in a monogamous relationship, so you feel it's a chore. For sure, there's the honeymoon period where there's chemistry, sexual chemistry, and then there's abundance. But eventually, if there's a disparity in your personality about your sexuality, and your partner is a lot more sexual or a lot less, then there's an imbalance that's created. And it's not necessarily a deal breaker for everyone, but to find a partner where there's a sexual compatibility is just bliss.
What I really like about the word compatibility is that it kind of highlights all the different relationship structures that are out there. For instance, people who are asexual, right? You desire romance, but maybe not sexuality, and to find a partner that shares that same value. So in that way, you can be sexually compatible when you find someone who shares that same libido, kink, and connects in that way. And also, I think it kind of reduces this stigmatism. For instance, when I was younger in relationships and I'm dealing with more immature boys, it kind of deletes the stigma of your sexuality becoming a block, because we're looking at it as compatibility and where your values are. A sexually ambitious person, or like someone who has maybe a kink or a desire to sleep with many people, and then it brings it to this place of like, are you compatible in that way? And I think in a lot of ways, for me, I thought it was beautiful.
People, men and women, who are just like into this kind of stuff, and polyamory, or in just swinging. And if it's your thing and you find a partner that is totally open to explore this side, then you're in heaven. And if not, then you have to.
You're in hell.
You have to repress if you want to sustain that relationship, because everything else is kind of functional. Then you have to repress your eccentric sexuality, and that has its consequences as well. Are ready for second one?
Number two,
emotional. What it means to have emotional compatibility? Well, emotional, it's a lot more intricate and sensitive subject, but for me, emotional compatibility means that both partners have a low level of power struggle. Emotion is just like waves, and then either your partner is the boat that has to ride your wave because one partner is just more emotional. Then it's your ability. Compatibility is not that like you have two people who are just like enraged or excited or sad at the same time. It's not the same. Compatibility is that it merge into, you're able to merge with your partner, and there's balance. And for this, the consequence of it, high level of emotional compatibility, for me, it's you're able to have low level of power struggle. When there's no compatibility, then there's friction. Like water and oil is just like it's not homogeneous. It doesn't melt with each other. And friction is there's people I see who they're dating a drama queen, and it could be a drama king, but I usually it's the opposite, and they're able to hold space, to be calm, to be totally serene, and like wow, and then they're on trigger. So it doesn't matter if as long as you're compatible with your partner. And you see this all the time happening. It's like, how do those two people find able to date each other? And it's just because they're compatible. You cannot be extremely volatile and end up in love with somebody extremely volatile without a firework every day. And so what it means is that you can date people who are not compatible, but we're not talking in this exercise, and I mean you're up to you to like do whatever you want with those categories, but I'm not talking about the compatibility that you need to hook up or to find yourself in a short-term relationship, but to find yourself. What do you need for compatibility? To find yourself in the healthy, happy, and fulfilling compatibility, sustainable in the long run, and that totally changes your value, because they're usually, when you want to hook up or a short relationship, it's at least for most of us, it's more superficial categories, more superficial compatibility, but they change as you are deepening your relationship with a partner that's more committed.
Yeah, for sure. Hookups, I mean, you can't get that deep, right? You're just opening the book, right? But
and then if somebody's crazy, but she's really hot and she's really horny, I'll go for like a day or two or even a month sometimes. But usually it's not sustainable. And at least for me, with my kind of energy, and there's people who can embrace a tornado happening every day, and they can stay in peace, and that's compatible for them. But it's not for everyone. Number 3, intellectual compatibility. Intellectual compatibility, exactly like what I just said. It's not that like your partner is as smart or as knowledgeable as you. It's not like it's good to have two people that are knowledgeable about the same thing. But compatibility in this case, I mean that the consequence of this would mean that it's your general field of knowledge and your field of interest. But what it means is that you're able to sustain long conversation with your partner. And intelligence, for me, it's not just about what you know. It's not about the intellect. Intelligence is the art that you can create with your knowledge. And this is conversation or writing or everything that you can express with what you've learned is the ability to be creative and conversation with your partner. If you have a partner that's really good in bed, you're really attracted, or financially you feel safe, but at the same time, every time you're in a dead zone, there's just uncomfortable silence. Then, for me, it's not as there's not as much chemistry as is if you're able to talk about everything and nothing, and to be just conversing and free flowing. And I feel this is one of the magic between us is like we can literally take any subject.
It's kind of why we started this channel, because we can just keep talking
and see we haven't covered most of what we want to share. It's already 10 minutes. Is we can talk or not talk, and like we can be silly and or serious about the subject, and we can go on forever pretty much. We have opinion and we're interested. We feel each other interested about what we share, but we feel that it's valued as well. And for me, that's it's not about intelligence, it's not about the quantity of intelligence. I've been to university and you haven't, so I probably know a lot of things about economy that you're totally clueless. But it's for irrelevant. Sure. Compatibility. If I want to talk about smart stuff, I just go talk with my friend, and it's not. But compatibility in a relationship refer to your ability to make yourself interesting in both sides, and that's how I see it as well.
I like one time you explained when we first started dating the magic, where it's like you can't, maybe this is a little bit more of an ethereal concept, intellectual compatibility, since it doesn't have to do with this I know this knowledge about this topic, but just that flow.
If there's no compatibility, you feel that you have to perform it, and if your performance is finished, like either you have to like vent what you know, or like name dropping when you try to flirt with someone at the beginning, it's not sustainable. Eventually you reach your limit. But if you're just able to converse about anything and it feels natural and fulfilling and interesting for both people, that's where I feel this compatibility. And it doesn't matter about how much you know. It's like if there's an interest, you can just ask me questions. And she's also intelligent in an area that I have no idea of, and I'm interested in what she's doing. I could be with somebody who has a triple PhD, but at the same time, if there's no intellectual chemistry in 5-minute conversation, I could be bored. And then it has nothing to do with the person not having the knowledge. It's just having no compatibility with my knowledge.
Compatibility with your knowledge. I like this.
Exactly.
Number 4.
Number 4 is personality compatibility. And with this, I mean your sense of your style of humor, your character, and what it means is that it means that we're all different. Your personality, it's your character, and
your conditioning in a way.
If you like to make stupid joke, like I do all the time, and then you have a partner that is not into it, or think you're boring, or think you're stupid, then
or is easily offended.
Yeah, what happened? But I'm training her to be more open to my style of humor, and it's working through the 2 years and a half.
Because of openness on my end.
You
couldn't train me if I didn't have an opening.
And what it gives us is that if you have high level of compatibility, is that it increases the easiness of living together full time. What I mean is that if you're in a long-term relationship, or you're just seeing your partner in the weekend, then you're able to just be not too deep, or just like in your bubble.
You don't run into the same struggles of sharing the space 24/7 with someone, or dealing with, oh, you didn't buy this, or we don't have this, or we have to figure out this problem. I mean, that you don't run into that when it's more part-time.
But anyone either in a romantic relationship or not, if you're spending 24/7 for a long amount of time, then the compatibility of personality become extremely important. Could be with your roommate, with your parents, and especially with your partner. If there's no compatibility, then there's no chemistry, there's no community, there's nothing happening. So compatibility. That's why like everyone is looking for community. Like for us, for a long time we haven't felt like we were able to merge with mainstream and not able to perform or identify ourselves inside of mainstream society, and then we start traveling, and as much as it was cool to meet some backpackers and travelers, eventually we find a nice community where we're settled full time, and it's just people like us. And if you want to isolate yourself, you're fine. And if you want to connect with other people, there's people like-minded like us that are there for us to feel like there's a family. And so, but what is the foundation of that is that there's a compatibility in our personality. We're not, most of us, focus on your career, even if most of us work and we do value making money and having a way of making a living. We're focused on other stuff, and it eases us to connect more deeply with others. And in a relationship, then if you live with your partner or you spend a lot of time with your partner, then having no compatibility in personality is just friction in the dead time that you have to spend in your 24/7. And then you can see it when there's no compatibility. You see couple at the restaurant, they're just on their phone, they're just not interacting, and there's no chemistry. There's maybe chemistry in the bedroom, there's chemistry maybe at work or whatever they're doing, they're just not able to do on their own. And I'm not judging, but
especially if it's not something that's high enough on your values.
yes, exactly. Or something that you're unaware of that exists. It's like if you have this, then
and you're satisfied everywhere else, and maybe it's not a deal breaker for you, which we'll get into also the different ways that you can write out your values to kind of get a little bit more clarity on where they land and perhaps where your partners land or what a relationship should look like for you moving forwards.
Yeah. So that's personality. and it's just personality is just like someone, if you have matching personality, it's just fun living together.
Boom.
Okay, fifth one, economic and professional ambition. This compatibility is also extremely important to me, as much as it's something that appears extremely superficial for people who are spiritual. Like in the past, I've been with partner who expect me to pay for everything, who expect me to be living in a higher standard of accommodation, etc., etc. And as much as it's okay for like a short relationship, it creates pressure if you cannot afford or if it's not your style of standard of living. Your lifestyle is determined usually by your income. And all my life, I pretty much identified myself as a dirtbag climber, and eventually I stopped climbing, so it was just dirtbag. So most of the time I live in the cheapest accommodation possible, and I cook by myself or I eat modestly. I sometimes treat myself, but when I go treat myself, it is a treat. So I never feed myself with the treat bag, and there was a time where it was difficult for me to find a partner that was comfortable and happy living the same lifestyle, because you don't want to be with somebody who also priving yourself and then make you feel bad about, like, I don't know, living modestly. And so if you can find a partner that's happy to live at the same level of standard of life, then that compatibility become much more less pressure in the end. And then you can travel at the same standard. Like there's people who just want to stay at 5-star hotel, and if you, even if you have the money and you don't want to spend that money towards something that you find superficial, then there will be imbalance. And economical compatibility is important. And for me, is one of the highest deal breaker.
Well, I think for most people too, because as you look into like the standard relationship where you move into marriage and you move into a shared bank account, you're sharing finances. And if you don't agree upon what you want to spend money on, then this is a huge place of friction, because it's also taking your time and energy that you've invested into work. And let's say I want to go shopping all the time, and this is just a lifestyle I want to live.
Making the money is like the other one just burning money. It's like it creates tension.
And I think it also adds another dynamic to like male and female values, because for men, a lot, not every relationship, but standardly, it sets the tone for how the relationship goes, right? Where it's like, for women, this may also be high on your list if you're someone that wants to be provided for, which you're allowed to have this value. But for me personally, like, it hasn't been a huge thing that I've wanted or needed, so it's actually extremely, extremely low on my list, because I could have a partner that's rich and wants to spend everything on me, and I could have a partner that says, okay, we go pick some of the veggies out front because we know we can eat these, and we add this into our food.
And being like, with my lifestyle, totally protect me against gold digger.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger,
which is nothing wrong with it. If for you financial security and spending whatever you want is important, but being with a partner that you're not necessarily attracted with and that have chemistry or personality match, then you put this on the high top of your list, and then it's a relationship as well. There's priority are personal. It's like it's based maybe on your trauma, based on your security, based on many things. It's like there's not. Value. It's not because for you one priority is better that you think that some other person, like we all change throughout ages, throughout like phases in your life. Those categories might change as well. And when you get heartbroken, you might change your standard or your priority. And it moves through you. We're all affected by the consequence of our reality, and yeah.
And then also like there's no perfect relationship, meaning that there's no perfect relationship though. So as you like look and define your values, it gets to get a little bit more clear about like what is deal breaker, what feels like satisfaction to you and such.
And so, since we talk about deal breaker, this was a...
Wait, we have one more.
We have two more.
Two more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, oops.
So I cannot talk about it now?
You can if you want, but it would probably be easiest at the end.
Okay. Let's continue and then... So, number 6. Spiritual and religious compatibility, depending on whatever you believe. So what it means for me, that compatibility is the depth in the way you perceive life and reality. I mean, maybe you believe in heaven, maybe you don't, maybe you're atheist, maybe you're spiritual. And then so compatibility is like, I don't know, I've been to a really deep spiritual journey for almost 8 years. All I did was, I didn't work, I didn't do anything social that was to distract me. I only practiced truth, study truth, write about truth, and that was my life for 7.5 years. And it gives me a perspective of life that is different than the me that was prior to that phases in my life. And as much as I don't think I would date someone that would be in the business world, it is like there's people where they're looking for a spiritual partner or somebody that's spiritually conscious, and at the same time, I'm sure it's a deterrent for other people who are looking for something more physical, more pragmatic. And so, yeah, I think we are on the same first matching spiritually. We're pretty good. What else can I say about spiritual compatibility? I mean, it's a wide spec. I mean, whatever with all your crystal, you're right. It's like we definitely are both labeling ourselves as spiritual, but I feel that we have different fields. I'm more into the mind, into like a teaching that's called Advaita Vedanta, and I would say you're in a different category, but at the end, it doesn't bother us. We have a energetic perception of reality, and I think we don't talk about it that much.
No, we actually really don't. That has not been a place that we've
Sometimes
explored
but
too
it's
much.
not something.
But
Yeah.
it's been alive within our relationship in an
Exactly.
unspoken way.
Yeah, it's true.
And anytime that I have talked about something, and I think this is something where I can share extra, is because I got into this world, this way of approaching life very, very young. And so a lot of my relationships, I felt I wanted to share something that was really alive in me, something really tender and like, important. And I felt there wasn't a connection or an understanding or, okay, that's cute, you have that. But there was no sharing. And I think there's things in our life that it's okay for us to hold ourselves, and there's some things that it really feels like we're missing something when we don't get to share that. And I know that I struggled a lot in my early life, feeling like, oh, that's cute, my girlfriend does that stuff. I don't and I felt like I couldn't share that, and there was a big part of me that felt I didn't get to share within the relationship. That felt like a really big part of me. And I'm sure when I'm actually the one who mentioned the religious part, because that can also feel like, wow, I have this great connection to God or whatever religious protocol, and you really want to share that and be seen in that experience with your partner, and that may be a big deal breaker for you. Yeah, and also I do appreciate that a lot of because we share this similar depth, a lot of our interests encompass similar spaces. And as much as we both love dancing, there's a really spiritual aspect to the kind of dance that we enjoy. Yeah. And I feel there's an understanding that's just there.
We both have a morning routine as well.
Unless I wake up at 2 p.m.
Which happen often.
So...
we have one last.
7.
Social ego compatibility. Social ego, I refer to physical attraction and social image. The way you carry yourself outside your relationship in the world.
Definitely the ego.
Yeah, definitely the ego, and I mean it's not bad. We all have it. It's like this puppet that we are using every time we're waking up and interacting with the world, and it's a tool. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons how we got interested in each other the first time. Is the first impression. And yeah, I could say it was because of your eyes, but I like you also for different thing. And so, and it's not just your physical appearance, your energy that you carry when you express yourself, when you interact with others. And I got attracted. And I feel that this attraction, this superficial attraction in some way, is reciprocated. And then to feel attracted by the envelope, by the image, is also something important. It's good to feel attracted by your partner, and to feel that your partner is attracted by you, and also that social image is by. I think that you were attracted by the way I dance, and yeah. And so by your skill, it could be also your profession. So it's an attraction about the image you project to society, not about the job you're doing, but just the image of that job or whatever that you're doing with society.
I could add on to this, because for instance, I know places where I've been incompatible with previous partners, whether they were more shy, they, maybe were too shy to go to social outings or certain things like that. Whereas I feel this a really deep appreciation that I could bring you into any setting and you will be able to vibe with them, connect, be able to speak your boundaries in this really admirable way where, you have this authenticity and...
But this comes up to compatibility. She's asking me to go out to go do some stuff, and it's matching with what I feel and resonate. If back in the day when I was younger and living in the city, If my friend, my partner would ask me to go in a bar, go play pool in a club, I would sometimes do it, but not because I wanted to, but because I didn't know anything better. And yeah, I was performing an identity because I didn't have my own identity. So and it's not sustainable. In the end, it's like you just do something to please your partner. It's not sustainable. If you just want to watch Netflix and want to go party hard, then it's not sustainable if you're trying to do something just for your partner. And when she's asking me to do something because there's compatibility and our social ego, then we can go interact socially, and it's fun for both of us because we're compatible. And that's what makes the difference. It's like, yeah, it's compatibility. It's what make life fun together.
Yeah, and I appreciate when you interact with people, when you show up in a space. I don't feel this need for you to be by my side and attached to me because I'm shy. And maybe that is your social compatibility, that when we enter a social space, I need you to not leave my side because I'm socially anxious, which probably has been that way more in the past.
And what's a good thing is that she had the ultimate test. For the last 2-3 weeks, we are in Laos to visit my mom's family, and she's been interacting with pretty much all my whole family, at least on my mom's side and my both parents. And sometimes I leave her alone with them, and she's enjoying it, and they love her, and she loves them. She starts learning Lao. She already spoke Thai, and she's learning also Mandarin Chinese. And like they're talking among each other. It's like, oh, we gotta watch out what we're saying because she's catching up quickly on what we're saying. And that compatibility, to be able to know that I don't have to babysit her, make me feel more comfortable that I'm in with the right partner. I presented other partner in the past to my family, and it didn't feel as easy. And so it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but at the same time, having high level compatibility with your partner make life so much more easy.
Oh, it's the cows.
And so, yeah, we're in
Can I share the cows with you guys? They're so cute. Okay, you can see them here. They
with the beautiful mountain.
Yeah, they have little bells attached to them, so you hear everywhere they go. It sounds like a little fairy forest. Okay, thank you for the cow interruption.
So now it's your turn. We finished describing the 7 category, and it's up to you to know if you want to see within your relationship, at least for long-term relationship, if you want to categorize them from 1 to 7, because literally it took me 2 hours. I did both of them. I put them in 3rd category, or I put them all in order from 1 to 7, and putting them from 1 to 7 was extremely difficult. I keep moving things like, what is the most important? What's like really number one? And it's like, this is more important, and I keep switching back and forward. And what helped me to put them in the right order at the end, it was to reverse engineer the question and asking myself, what would be the first most important deal breaker if I don't have it? And she I'm not sure she agreed, but for me, asking myself what is the most important compatibility for a long, sustainable, happy, and fulfilling relationship is the same as asking myself, if I don't have it, I wouldn't be with that person. And so deal breaker for me was just a different way to say the same question. And by starting with the idea of what is the deal breaker if I don't have it, then it became much faster and easier to put them in the right order. And so you can try for yourself.
Yeah, and so what we'll move into next, I'm not sure yet if we want to do a separate video.
Yeah, I think we should cut this one. Let's cut this one.
What you'll be able to see in our next video, uploaded onto our channel, is we will go ahead and share our
personal lists
about
ourselves and about what we think the other wrote about us.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see this in action.
And just for you guys know, we haven't read the list of each other to each other, so it's first time on camera live.
You'll be able to see us fight live. Who is the winner?
Thank you for watching. And because it matters for the growth of our channel, if you did like the video, please
like, subscribe, and comment down below any suggestions that you have, because we love connecting with you, or any topics you'd like us to talk about.
And if you're interested to follow us on the individual level, we both have our individual channel. Mine is here and it's here. Ciao!
Bye.